Hi guys, this is Bestilly and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I'm pretty much going to do like a summary thoughts of the wipe itself. We're just over a month in and I want to discuss what's actually turned out over the wipe so far and just my overall thoughts. So leave it at that. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So in summary, it's been just over a month. It's been like 33 days since the wipe. And I haven't really posted any videos, at least on the main channel, just because it's realistically not been an overall fun wipe. When Escape from Tarkov, Battlestate Games came out with the idea of hosting a hardcore wipe, my ears perked up. I was like, this could be really interesting, really cool. And then they started to show all the information that was going to happen during the wipe. And it really just, I was on like a optimistic, but you know, like trying not to just be pissed off straight away, because I was realistically thinking this could actually be a lot of fun if they do it right. So pretty much wipe happened and then they brought up their list. The major thing that was really annoying from the very beginning was transits. There was 3 maps being Factory, Ground Zero and Customs, and you could go to those 3 maps and you could transition to different maps. It was pretty the overall like loudness of the community was pretty much saying that we didn't like it and BSG changed it. So from there, they made it that we didn't have to transit anymore and they opened up all the maps. That was really good. And then it kind of felt like we could play the game again because it was very chokeholdy. From there, the wipe was very, very paced by BSG standards. So what they did was they had traders unlocking at a particular pace. So it was pretty much once a week, a trader level would open up, maybe sometimes a week and a half. And it's only just now gotten to the point where we have level 4 traders. It's not only that, they also delayed questing. So quests would come out in a delayed manner and you wouldn't be able to just smash through all the quests in whatever order or pace you wanted, because you'd get to a certain point and they would force stop you. Now this kind of like time gating by BSG, I actually am not against for an early wipe. It kind of does make the early wipe feel a lot longer, and that was kind of fun. It was really good that we still aren't seeing people running around full meta gear constantly. So again, overall with the time gating stuff, I actually have no real major qualms and issues with that. The biggest issues I have and have had with this wipe is extra effort for no extra reward. So when I do like my self-imposed rule set of Escape from Tarkov where I make it hardcore, I literally play the game and I go, you know, what can I do that makes the game feel more rewarding? So going into raid, finding the gear, and then completing the quest from the gear found in raid. None of that is like changed in the flow of the game. But when you like add it that you have to find 2 times the amount of gear for the hideout, that doesn't make it more hardcore, because I still have to go into the raid to find it anyway. There's no flea market. It just makes it more tedious. And I feel if they added extra reward, I wouldn't even bother. Like I wouldn't even be annoyed by having to find, you know, 13 motors through the progress of, you know, leveling up my hideout. Say for example, if they went to that little bit extra effort, say they spent like, they gave an intern a job and said, write out 30 new crafts to put in each of the hideout stations. That would be cool. I'd be down for that. Hey, it's really hard to find this item, but I could craft it. Or I really want to use that scope or gun or whatever. Have all the extra crafts in there and it would actually be pretty cool. And it'd be exciting. Be like, oh, I wonder what happens when I unlock, you know, workstation level 3 or workbench level 3 or whatever. None of that was even put into the game. It was just literally like, hey, we're going to make it take 2 times more effort, but no extra reward. And that was the common theme I found throughout the whole extra playing of the game. Now, when I made my original video and thoughts like pretty much a few days after the start of the wipe, maybe like 4 days in, I said that the emphasis is obviously on getting the loot from within the raids. And I still stand by the point that Customs, Ground Zero, and Factory definitely have more loot. If you go into a Ground Zero raid and you go into any of the areas right at the very beginning of the raid, it's got plentiful amount of loot. It was almost like they were going to have it that Ground Zero, Customs, and Factory would have more loot, and then you transition to other maps, and over time, as they unlock more maps, they would boost the loot. But it's not the case. If you go to a map outside of those 3, the loot is atrocious. Like, we're not even talking, like, it's bare minimum. Like, I can't even emphasize it enough. I'm stuttering trying to even say. Not to mention the locked rooms, and this is including on Customs and Ground Zero and Factory. Locked rooms obviously have some extra multiplier added to them, so they could just dial up the marked room or any of the locked rooms within the game and say there's more loot or less loot. Any of the locked rooms are just trash. Marked rooms are atrocious. For the first like week of the wipe, they were so bad, people were using like 10 users on a marked room key and were lucky to find a stack of ammo. And I've got nearly every marked room key in the game, but I have not found anything good or usable in those rooms. That's not to say people haven't found items in those rooms, but they're still trash. Now, initially, they had the boss spawn rates at 100%. People were using that to farm gear, and I'm all for that. It makes sense. Anyone could go into a factory raid and farm the gear. But when they were at 100%, particularly Tagilla, was just too easy to farm. And so then we ended up seeing this big wave of like super Tagilla gear, tier 6 armor, tier 5 face shield running around everywhere. And if people were smart enough to do it as a group, they'd have multiple people that could farm that gear from Tagilla and then go into the other maps. And if you were in a 2 or a 3-man group, if you were fighting against anyone who didn't have the same gear as you, you were pretty much unstoppable. There's situations where you take 2 to 3 bullets to the face, but oh, there's someone over there, I'll go fight them now. It's really just, it skewed it really badly. Whereas I feel like if they could have been a little bit more smarter of doing it. Now that the bosses are at 50%, it's not as easy to farm that gear, but you do run into the whole, Tagilla armor, Tagilla helmet combo from time to time. It's still quite common, but not to the point where it's full squads just running it. Speaking of squads, the punishing of losing that gear, not having insurance, not being able to replace gear that easily, or being on a quest where you had to have a specific item to complete that quest, like either setup or the test drives or whatever. The majority of people I fight are in squads. Now, I'm a solo player. I generally like taking on, multiple players. It's not that big a deal for me, generally speaking. But when it's every fight someone's in a squad, it gets a little bit to the point where it's like, not only do you have to win like that 1 or 2 fight there, the next squad comes over and they can hear all the fighting, and it just becomes overwhelming to the point where it's like, I can't risk this gear because I don't want to lose it because I need it for a quest, but now I'm having to fight multiple squads, and it's just too difficult. Even for me, I'm finding this wipe kind of too difficult to enjoy. It's not about can I progress? Damn straight. I've probably over the last 4 weeks played a good portion of 2 weeks of it, but I progressed heaps, but didn't enjoy the progression. And I think it's kind of paced really poorly because of that. And I'm under the impression that more people than ever are probably just going, not for me. Like the number 1 comment on my previous video was, this is the best wipe of all time in my opinion, made me not want to play the game, I finally escaped from Tarkov. And I feel like there's a general consensus that majority of people aren't enjoying this wipe. BSG is saying the numbers are good. Even Nikita made a post saying that there's 44,000 concurrent players on PvP right now. Now we don't have anything to gauge that against. Was that the high of the day, the low of the day, the middle, the medium? Or is it like lots of people compared to previous wipes? Is it the same as previous wipes? We don't really know. But 44,000 in PvP probably means it's similar, because Nikita, during my interview with him, said that was the same amount in the PvE as there is in PvP, probably more towards PvE at the end of the wipe. So we're probably saying that there's 50,000 people playing PvE as well, which it just goes to show that, like, I don't think this is a wipe that maybe was their intention. I'm not sure. Now, the number 1 criticism I get when I even talk about this on stream, and to the point where I don't even really talk about it on stream anymore, is that, Nikita has a vision and, just got to trust in the process and all that kind of stuff. And this tweet right here really just screams to me that, like, does Nikita even know what his vision is anymore? Because that friendly guy says, unless they tweak some stuff fast, as in 1 to 3 days fast, I think the most of the player base will quit this wipe. They've gone too far hardcore and removed what makes Tarkov Tarkov. And Nikita replied with, I totally disagree with you. Seems like you never played early Tarkov. And friendly guy says, this bait. And friendly guy is, by the way, a very nice dude. And he's even showed he purchased Tarkov in the 31st of July, 2017, which is pretty much the same day as me. And the point I want to make about that is, like, this is nothing like early Tarkov. If you want to talk about back in, like, alpha days, or as soon as it came out of alpha, it was like a totally different game. Speaking from, like, in your container, you could put whatever you want. There was no limitations whatsoever. The total opposite of what we have now. You could put a thermal on a site, not that it was thermals back then, but you could put a thermal on a gun, and put that thermal in your container, that gun in your container, and pop it out whenever you want. I used to have a pocket MP7 thermal, which I'd always, or a pocket thermal I used to call it. And I used to take it out, scan the area, yep, no players here, put it back in my bum, right? Or, for example, you could put an M4, a 2x4 M4 into your Epsilon container, and you could run around with a hatchet when there was hatchet running. You could run around with that and just take out your M4 when, someone thought you were just hatchet running and you were friendly because you'd give them the wiggle, and then take out the M4 when they're not looking to shoot him in the back of the head. It was a totally different game. Loot on all the maps was plentiful. There was loot everywhere. And you'd be able to, like, farm marked rooms for cases, weapon cases, item cases. It was like totally different to what we have in this hardcore wipe. So when Nikita says something like this, he really just makes me go, what is his vision? Because this isn't what Tarkov was back in 2017. And that was fun. It was so much fun. I actually had an absolute blast playing back then. Factory was a totally different map. It was very small. It was well more lit up. And it was a PvP haven. Quick matching times, by the way. And you would be able to play all day. Like I literally did streams of just Factory. I did challenges where I'd try and get 100 kills in 3 hours. And I think I'd got 117 was the best I ever did. That was like all I did on stream was play Factory over and over again. It was fast moving, super like people were super aggressive, and it was a lot of fun. Absolute lot of fun. This is the total opposite of what I'm experiencing now. This is not me ragging on BSG or the game or the vision or anything. It's just that this wipe is just not that fun for me. And that's why you haven't really seen any videos on this channel. I've started the hardcore series for the Pestily TV channel twice. I did it with the new BSG rule sets with my rule set on top, and I didn't find it fun at all. And then I tried the other day doing it again, but like kind of BSG's rule set with just a couple of little things on top. Like I started with no gear in my stash to build and just to build up. And I was just thinking to myself, do I really want to put myself through this? Because it doesn't feel like enjoyable fun. And last wipe, the reason why I brought Red Ops in onto that hardcore series was I felt like for me, I needed to mix it up, try something different, and doing it with Red Ops was actually fun. We progressed really fast. And then after I did it, it kind of re-sparked it for me, and I was like really excited to do it again, and that's why season 14 even happened. So I'm not exactly sure what I want to do on the Pestily TV channel at the moment, but the current idea I'm running with, and it's either I'll do one of these hardcore playthroughs that I started with the BSG rule sets, or I'm thinking about just not even doing a hardcore playthrough, but more just I do a standard account playthrough where I just do duos every day, and it's maybe like the Pestily carried series, and people will carry me and I get to banter with new people. So you guys get something a little bit fresh and different, and then at least the emphasis isn't on me enjoying the game, but at least me just having good banter and fun with people whilst experiencing the pain and suffering of Escape from Tarkov. Now, in all honesty, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think this is just obviously BSG going through their process of, doing a wipe with minimal effort. And it's not like, and that's not a dig either. They wanted to do what they could change for the game to make it feel fresh, but also still make it that they can put all their focus on 1.0. 1.0 is still due to come out this year. There is only 3.5 months left. We still don't have a date. And they definitely say it's coming out this year. So I have to wait and see. They were meant to tell us the date like second quarter. So I've stopped pushing on it because people were saying I was whining, but I'll leave it at that. Hopefully we'll know the date soon so then we can start planning for when 1.0 is. I will still be playing Escape from Tarkov. I do really enjoy the game as a whole. It's just I'm going to have to take it in bite sizes. And, I've got Path of Exile 2 coming up. I've got Battlefield. And I'll play Tarkov when I feel like it, but that's why you're probably not seeing me post as much. And I don't really feel like doing a YouTube video for every small little update where it's like, new traders are unlocked. Because I don't need to talk for multiple minutes to say the traders are unlocked. I do wish they would actually put more of this information within the game though. But that's just another rant for another day. Anyway, that is my overall thoughts and opinions on Escape from Tarkov in its current state. And yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I really do. I never asked for this, by the way. The amount of people said, Pestily, you asked for this. Why aren't you playing it? Never asked for it. Nope. I was the only thing people could even show that I ever said something in regards to wanting a hardcore wipe was I said that I wanted to do an event on the private servers, invite only, as a bit of fun. None of this shit. I would never have put these rules into place. I don't think it's rewarding. Anyway, like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to be working on a Battlefield video because I've been having a lot of fun playing that. I actually went and played Battlefield back in March with the devs in a focus group, and it's come a long way and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited for more Battlefield content coming out. I've got Path of Exile 2 at the end of the month, so plenty of gaming to be had. I am live streaming over on the Pestily live YouTube channel as well. At the moment, I still don't like the idea of streaming on this YouTube channel, but maybe I'll change my mind on that. So like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and lastly, I'll see you next time.